Okay, Miles, here we go. I hope you're ready. I think you've already done page 37, but I'm going to do it anyways, just in case you haven't. Here the directions say that they want you to practice solving systems of simultaneous equations by either substitution or addition. Use the method that would be more practical for each problem. Check your work. If you solve the equation in a different manner from that in the score key, you can count your solution correct if you obtain the same answer. So they've already taught you how to solve simultaneous equations using substitution, and they've taught you to solve simultaneous equations using the addition method. Now they're going to actually let you decide which method you want to use. The way that I make up my mind as to which method I want to use is if in the simultaneous equations there is a letter that's by itself, I usually use the substitution method. In other words, if there's a letter that doesn't have a number next to it or a coefficient, I use the substitution method to solve that equation. So since this equation has x by itself, I'm going to use the substitution method. For me to be able to use the substitution method, I've got to isolate x. In other words, I've got to move the 7y over to this side of the equal sign. The way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to add 7y to this side. And remember, I've taught you that what you do to one side of the equal sign, you have to do to the other. So I'm going to add 7y to this side. The reason I added 7y is because negative 7y plus 7y equals 0. So that gets rid of my negative 7y on the left side of the equal sign. But again, since I added 7y to the left side, I've got to add 7y to the right side. Okay, now that I've got x equals 8 plus 7y, I can substitute the x. Wherever I see x in this equation, I could substitute it for 8 plus 7y. Because this is telling me that x is the same as 8 plus 7y. Now you might be asking, well, why do I want to substitute? Because you can't, they want you to solve these equations, but you can't solve the equation if you have two unknowns. See, here you have an x unknown and a y unknown. You can't solve it if you have two unknowns. You can only solve the equation if you have one unknown. So now we're going to substitute x for 8 plus 7y in this top equation. So do what I do. Okay, so I'm going to substitute 8 plus 7y for x. So wherever I see x in the top, I'm going to write 8 plus 7y. So here we have 3. I'm going to use parentheses. 8 plus 7y, close parentheses, plus 5y equals 50. See, now I have only y's. I don't have x and y. So now I could solve for y. While I still had x and y, I couldn't solve the equation. Now that I only have one unknown, I can solve the equation. So remember that whenever you have anything in front of the parentheses, that means that you're going to multiply everything that's outside the parentheses with everything inside the parentheses. Okay, so I'm going to multiply this 3 with the 8 and the 3 with the 7. So 3 times 8 is 24, and 3 times 7 is 21y, plus 5y equals 50. Okay. Now what I do is I combine everything that can be combined. Here, the only thing that can be combined are the y's. So I'm going to combine those. 21y plus 5y equals 26y. And all I have left is a 24. I could put the 24 in the front of the y's or in the back of the y's. It doesn't really matter right now where I put it. It won't change my answer. Okay. Now what I need to do is I need to get rid of this positive 24 because I want to isolate y. That's my goal. I want to get y by itself. So I want to get rid of this positive 24. And the way I'm going to get rid of it is by using the reciprocal or the opposite operation. So the opposite of a positive number is a negative number. So I'm going to use negative 24 to get rid of this 24, positive 24. Positive 24 and negative 24 equals 0. So I'm just going to cancel those out. But what I do to one side of the equation, I've got to do the other. So since I subtracted 24 from this side, I've got to subtract 24 from this side. What I have left is 26y equals 50 minus 24. Now, I know that 50 minus 25 equals 25, so 50 minus 24 has to equal 26. If you don't believe me, do it on your calculator, if you have a calculator. If not, grab your phone, use that calculator. Now, I've almost got y by itself. I still have to get rid of this 26. So this means 26 times y. So just like I did over here, I use the opposite operation. Well, the opposite of multiplication is division, so I'm going to use division. I'm going to divide by 26. Divide by 26. 26 divided by 26 is 1, and 1 times y is y. So I'm just going to cancel this. And 26 divided by 26 is 1, so y equals 1. All right, I just figured my answer for y. Y equals 1. Now, I want to figure out what x is, so I'm going to grab, since y equals 1, and x is the same as 8 plus 7 times y, and y equals 1, I'm just going to plug that in. X equals 8 plus 7 times 1. Right? Kind of running out of room here. So x, what's 8 plus 7 times 1? Well, 7 times 1 is 1. And 8 plus 7, well, 8 plus 8 is 16. So 8 plus 7 has to be 15. So my answer is x equals 15 and y equals 1.